It is Free Comedy Friday, and it's a good one, man. The legend himself is back in San Diego, performing at the American Comedy Company.
One of the
this
best
weekend.
clubs,
Yeah.
I think.
You love it.
In the United States.
You know that voice. That's TJ Miller.
I really feel like it. That's right.
TJ back in the house.
Back in his house.
That's it.
Yes.
I guess
bro.
is how you would say it.
Totally.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, first of all, I love the Gaslamp District.
Yep.
I just think that's a fun place, and there's really no other place like it. In Vancouver, there's this place, the Gaslight District, but it's not as, I don't know, it's not as fun. And that club is small. It's
Yeah.
one of the smaller clubs I play. So it's 200 seats, and it really,
You feel it, right?
yeah, and it's really tough to have a bad show there. Like, I did New Year's Eve there, and Kate came and opened for me with some songs and some weird clown stuff. So we've had some great experiences there. I know, that's so strange
Yeah.
that I married a clown.
Yeah.
That is odd. That is weird.
And so it's hard to have a bad show, and if you go to the club, it's hard to have a bad time because you feel like you're right there with the performer. And I love that because now I'm sort of playing 500 seat venues and 1,000 seat venues, and so it's so great to come to a club like this. Or there's a club in Appleton, Wisconsin called Skyline Comedy Cafe, or now Skyline Comedy Club. And, that's the sweet spot for stand-up comedy is about 150 to 320. But 200 is just right there. And so you have such a good time. And it's so great to be able to party in the district and then kind of go down into it's also in the basement. So it really feels like you're in a comedy club.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
You
It
walk
is.
down the
you kind
stairs.
of descend into a place
Yeah.
that's sort of, it almost feels like a secret space.
Yeah, it does.
And then you do secret things.
Oh, what is this?
And
You naughty.
So there's now you naughty man, now you naughty girl. You naughty. You singular naughty.
Love it.
And so I think the club's great, and it's so fun to play this particular club. And I've been touring in perpetuity is the name of the tour, and so I tour every single weekend. And so I get to play a lot of different. I was just I don't want anyone in here to kind of feel like I'm trying to be big time, but
But you are.
I did play the Mall of America last weekend. Yes, no, that's right.
No,
Yes,
you did not.
There's a roller coaster and a zip line.
Is there an Old Navy, though?
Yeah.
There is an Old Navy.
Okay,
And there's a Ferris wheel. And we went on the Ferris wheel, and it's so funny because what is a Ferris wheel but something that you go on with someone that you're romantically interested in?
I love
And then you kind of go to the very top, and you go, ooh, look at the view.
Yeah.
And then you try and give a little kissy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work, you get 4 more tries. You know? And so, but I don't understand. I could not understand a Ferris wheel inside of a mall. What happens when you get to the top of that? You're like, ooh, look at the view of the inside of the mall.
I can see all the way to Wetzel's Pretzels.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Is that a baby Gap? No, it's just a regular Gap. It just looks so small from over here. And so it kind of like it's the most ridiculous place in terms of being our pyramids of Giza in America.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
Doesn't make
this
sense.
temple to capitalism. But that's actually a really fun club too. But it's not, it's not the Gaslamp.
Oh, yeah, it's in a mall.
Yeah.
So there's actually a club in the mall. So it's not like you were Tiffany performing on a stage in the
Sister
food court.
Christian, it is the mall is so big that
Yeah.
again, there's an amusement park inside of it with the roller coasters.
Right.
Plural,
Yeah.
and they have about 50 restaurants and 7 food courts. The hotel is inside the mall.
What?
And there's 2 hotels in the mall. So, but the one that I stay in
Yeah.
is inside the mall. So theoretically, you don't have to leave the mall. Because when you go back to your room, you're in the mall. When you leave your room, you're in the mall. When you leave the hotel, you're in the mall. When you go to the club, you're in the mall. When you
so
leave the
weird.
club, you're inside the mall.
It's its own city.
It really is. And it's so strange. And I tried once to just stay in the mall, to never go outside for like the extent of the 4 or 5 days. And I went
You go a little
crazy.
stir crazy? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to just, at one point, I just sort of ran to the parking lot just to inhale sweet, sweet exhaust fumes outside.
You know, like stale mall
This kind
air?
of couldn't do it. I know. Think about it. It's all like
Terrible.
recycled. Yikes. Yeah.
That's a lot.
So nice to be in San Diego.
Yeah.
Where, by the way, the weather is always perfect.
You're welcome.
True dat.
Yes,
What
it
do you
is.
think about that? Do you think that affects people's sort of general well-being or how you guys
Yeah,
feel?
I think that for the most part, us here in San Diego, we're pretty happy. Like, we're,
Yeah, that's what I get. That's the sense that I get.
Unless it's like super pretty outside, then you feel like a loser when you want to stay inside of your house.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
There's
the
guilt.
only. She's right about that.
There's
Like,
guilt.
I'm from New York.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I live there.
Okay, so like when it's raining, it gives me an excuse to stay inside. When it's cloudy, out here it's sunny all the time. So when I stay inside, I'm like, I should be outside. What
I
a
know
loser.
there's no real winter here, so you can't be like, time to cozy up with Netflix and hot chocolate. Here, if somebody was like, hey, you want to get some hot chocolate? You'd be like,
What?
No.
Yeah,
Don't.
instead of snow days, we get
But I
cloud
would-
days.
I would like to drink outdoors for the 5th consecutive night.
Oh, hell yeah.
100%. TJ Miller performing at the American Comedy Company tonight, tomorrow night, and on Sunday. You brought us a little gift.
I brought you one of my own I have a line of hot sauces.
What? Are you kidding me?
So yes, I have 4 hot sauces that I made with this family.
Oh,
This is one of the more strange things I've ever seen.
I love your faces on the bottle, by the way.
You got it. And I'm at this company when I was doing the Mucinex Man thing, and I was in the middle of Indiana, and this guy had a audio set up he had a studio in his barn.
Of course.
And so I went there to record, and it was so funny because he then said afterwards, he's like, "Are you a hot sauce guy?" And I was like, "Actually, yes, I'm
You love
a
it.
huge hot sauce fan. I would almost say connoisseur, but why?" And he's like, "I make my own hot sauce." And then we kind of became friends. He became friends with my mother-in-law, so he's sort of a family friend. And then I said to him, we should collaborate someday. And so we worked on it for about 1.5 years trying to figure out, this is sort of TJ's Choice Chipotle hot sauce. So I like a nice
I like
Chipotle,
it.
but with some
Yeah.
heat.
Yeah.
And then we also have Extreme Gangster Heat, which is sort of more of a hot, but with flavor.
Yeah.
And then we have a diet hot sauce, which is just the same as this one with a different label. Because all hot sauces are diet. They don't have any calories
I was
at all.
gonna-
They have 0
yeah.
calories.
So-
And then there's
You have your extreme.
I'm gonna have to modify it.
Okay.
Yeah, my extreme is effing intense ghost pepper type SH. But and that's on the label.
Yeah.
But that is ghost pepper. That's intense heat.
Yeah.
But
Did
still
you
with
try?
flavor.
You have to sit there and try all of them, and figure
and
out which one you like.
Well, the biggest thing was I wanted to do something that was really, really hot. That last one. But still had flavor. It wasn't just hot for the sake of being hot.
Right.
I wanted Chipotle, which is on the other end, but with some heat, because a lot of those just are they're nice, but they don't have heat, and I like that heat. And then the Extreme Gangster Heat is kind of more just for people that really like a Tabasco level heat, sort of. But I wanted it a little bit hotter and with a different flavor. Kind of Tabasco to me tastes a little bland, maybe because we have had so much of it.
Right.
But so I
How do you?
I wanted it to be good. I didn't want to slap my face on a label and put it on somebody else's.
This is
hot
no
sauce.
money making.
I wanted,
No.
I wanted
You
to
believe in your
work.
hot sauce.
Yeah, I really believe in it. It's so silly, but I believe in it. And as I was saying off air, coming up with, I'm working with these people, Be Happy, peanut butter company, to come up with a line of
You're
peanut
gonna do
butters.
Peanut butter.
Because I am equally as passionate about peanut butter.
Really?
I agree.
And nothing is funnier than going on the road. And you're a peanut butter
I'm a
guy. I
peanut
can
butter
feel
guy.
it. I
I
can
love
feel it.
peanut
You gotta do it.
He's creamy,
I'll
though.
eat peanut butter on pickles. That's real.
Really?
No,
Yeah,
come on.
I will.
bananas.
Or I'll eat on anything.
That might be good.
Sweet and savory.
Yeah.
Wow.
We are being naughty again.
We're being naughties, aren't we? And so I thought and there's nothing funnier, I think, than being a stand-up comedian who they're like, so do you have merch to sell? I'm like, yep, hot sauce and peanut butter.
Shirts.
Want me to autograph? I know everyone else got bumper stickers,
Yeah,
shirts.
exactly.
I got
Bumper
hot sauce and
CD.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, they go, well, what if you did a sort of hot peanut butter? And so I've
What's
connected
up? What's up?
the Lins who do the hot sauce and the Weeds. They're actually, their last name is Weed. The peanut butter guys. You get that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
makes perfect
if
sense.
you're high, you usually
Brilliant.
go straight to the peanut butter
Right.
jar. Nothing in between, but perhaps a pickle. And you got to try it. It's actually really good. And the peanut butter, that guy was like, oh, well, people have been telling me I should do a sriracha. I said, let's do something with like dried habanero or something that's really interesting. Or just kind of do a full mix of, we could do a chipotle peanut butter. You could do a really hot peanut butter with just, you wouldn't want to do ghost pepper. I think
Yeah,
that would be a
that's
little
too
much. But I thought that would be really funny too. So we might.
DJ, you become like a hot sauce savant. Like, this
Yeah,
is
I love it.
amazing.
Do
I've
you drink
always
hot
loved
sauce
it.
straight?
Well, yeah. How do
I
you
have.
test it?
Well,
Straight or on food?
No, usually with food. But like, I also wanted something that tasted good. So I mostly put on when I was testing it: sandwiches, eggs, stuff where you're adding flavor, you know.
Yeah.
And then with the habanero, the ghost pepper thing, you just really have to test that on like a cracker. You just have to figure out
Ooh, it's so hot.
how much heat it is.
So hot.
Yeah, that
I
it's.
can't.
It is so hot. I did something that I don't know if I'm necessarily proud of,
Oh,
but
no, what happened, TJ?
so we were in Birmingham, Alabama, because Kate's best friend lives there, and she took us to like this southern sort of brunch, like a high tea.
Oh.
But it was sweet tea as well as hot
right.
tea. And so we went and we dressed up. You know, you have to dress up and wear like a purple blazer. It's so funny. And so we go, and this little kid comes up, and this little southern kid, and I said, do you like hot sauce? And he goes, yeah, but only if it's hot. And I said, oh, okay, well, here, try a little bit of this. And I gave him the extreme gangster heat. I said, what did you think of that? And he goes, it's okay. It's not that hot. He was like 8, you know?
In your
He goes,
face.
it's not that hot.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay, do you want to try something hotter? He's like, sure. And so I put a little bit of the ghost pepper
Oh, no.
on like a biscuit or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I had that moment where I was like, you can either give him this and have him again say, not that hot.
Yeah.
Or you can teach him a lesson about not sort of being arrogant.
Yeah. Hit him, TJ.
About hot sauce or just life in general.
yeah.
And so I kind of had put 2 drops on it, and then I kind of go, this lesson needs to be learned. And so then I just sort of slathered it on. Yeah. When you use the word slather, there's
That's a lot.
this is going to be a real thing.
Yeah.
And so then I gave it to him, and I said, what'd you think? He goes, it's okay, not that hot.
What?
And then,
No.
like maybe 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
he was lying down on the like concrete outside, sucking on ice cubes, and they were bringing him milk.
Oh,
and
you
he
almost
was
killed him.
just like, and I didn't, I thought for a second ago, and so what do you think of it now? You think it's hot? But I just left him.
Yeah. Fine.
I just left him to be lesson learned.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
Well done. Teaching lessons around the
I
country.
think
I
it's
love
pretty
this.
good. Yeah. So, but that's another fun thing about touring as a stand-up is I get to do 2 things that I really like, which is one, see the country, because it's really fun to perform for the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we get to see friends of ours on the road. And then also that I get to do, I kind of do a small VIP meet and greet afterwards. And that's been really interesting for me because I get to meet the people that I'm making laugh and get to hear from them about films and
Yeah.
things that I've been in. And that's always fascinating to me that someone will go, oh, I love She's Out of My League. And then I look at,
Yeah. I love that movie.
the girl they're with, and I'm like, wow, you're really living that. You know? And the ladies love that line.
It's a great
It's a great line. And, but somebody said, oh, geez, I loved, what was he saying last night? Oh, just, you were great in Deadpool, that character. I just love that character. And he said, my wife loves you in Big Hero 6. You're her favorite character in that movie. And so I really get to see kind of the
Where everybody's
demographic
at.
of what people like, what are people's favorite movies. And that's just really fun for me because when you do a film, it doesn't come out. The next film that I did, Kristen Stewart and I did a movie called Underwater, which
Okay.
is coming out January 10th.
Oh.
And it's sort of a thriller. It's a throwback to Cloverfield, that kind of
okay.
era.
Cool.
I don't want to say that my character from Cloverfield is connected to my character from this.
Ooh, hot teas.
But I'm not going to see it.
Hot teas.
You've got the best ones. You're like, you're being a naughty. Ooh, that's a hot tease. You seem like you're always ready to go out and about on the town.
That's me, TJ.
But so,
That's what I'm known for.
That's what you're known for. It's
That's
going
Eddie.
out and about on the town.
That's me.
Yep.
You
And
always
being
see
the
me.
naughty.
Yeah,
The naughty who's always hot teasing
that's
it.
me.
And so it's it's kind of a thriller. It's a different thing. I'm still the comedy, obviously. I'm not trying to like be an actor or
But
something
how
like that.
do you have time? I mean, because you are a movie star too.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
how do you
so-
have time to do all this stuff?
Well, so I this actually it's a good segue. What I do, I just did a film with Drew Barrymore, which is going to be really interesting because it's a dark comedy, and she plays two parts. She plays a movie star who's fallen from grace because the sort of TMZ, the kind of what we all hate about media right now,
Yeah.
that just are so vicious. They kind of went after her, and so they wanted her to do this apology to her, and so she also plays her stand-in. Who stands
that's
in for
wild.
in the movies, and she gets her stand-in to go to rehab for her.
Oh, wow.
But what happens is the stand-in starts to want to take over her life.
Uh-oh.
So it becomes this very interesting dark comedy where the stand-in is trying to date the guy that she's dating and do all this. And so it's really, it's first of all, it's a strange turn for her because she doesn't really do, I mean, it is a legitimate black comedy. It's like a very, it's a dark one. And so, you see me almost make the joke of like, it's not like a black, like, she's not black face. It's not a
Yeah.
the way-in brother. But then I did make the joke, and
no,
I'm
you
proud
did
of
joke.
myself for not
Well
doing
done.
that.
Well done.
And but it's it's a very dark, funny comedy. So what I did is I just sort of do stand up around that or within it. And sometimes you do a film and it's only 2 weeks or a month or something like that. But Underwater was 3 months, but it was 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And
3 years ago?
Yeah, because Disney bought Fox, and so they delayed the production till Disney could figure out what they wanted to do with it. It's
crazy.
Which is, I think, put it in a great spot and put a lot behind it. But, I made this thing 3 years ago, and so it's going to take another 5 months before I really start hearing what people think of the movie, what they thought of my comedy in the movie. And that's, as a stand-up comic who's been doing it for 16 years, that's not the way that I love to work. I would rather
Instant
do the joke. Yeah, get the
feedback.
instant feedback,
Yeah.
exactly, and then kind of be able to take it from there. So that's what's been so cool about actually meeting
That's
people
awesome,
after the
man.
shows is I get to kind of actually hear what they thought of the show, what they thought of this film or that film, or I'm a big fan of Silicon Valley or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
And so that's really great. But that being said, the trailer for Underwater, everyone should look it up because it'll make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. I
Ooh,
mean,
I'm
it's
gonna-
really,
Really?
yeah, I got
Another hot tease.
goosebumps.
tease.
Another
Yeah.
hot
Hot tease.
I'm just hot teasing it left and right. But I mean, I'm a hot sauce tease, so I gotta be hot teasing
He's
it.
a jack of all trades.
That's right.
He's a hot sauce connoisseur.
Yes.
He
Peanut
is
butter.
Peanut butter man.
A purveyor of peanut butter.
Movie star, stand up. He does it all. You got to see him this weekend at American Comedy Company. Go check him out right there in beautiful Gaslamp in San Diego.
Come on, guys, come down and be naughty.
Oh, another hot tease. Thanks, TJ, man. Good seeing
Thanks
you
for
again.
having me, guys. Good
Absolutely.
seeing you.